can say it was a busy year. So, peace to my sons, Jalen, Ricky, Omari. Love you niggas, man. I'm saying 3 little lords. Look out for them one day. They're gonna be taking on their dad's legacy.
Hello everyone, welcome back, or welcome for the first time to the history of everything. Today I'm going to be talking about Lord Infamous, who is part of the group 3-6-Mafia, one of the most influential rap groups of all time, whether you know it or not. Today we're going to get into his history, why he's so influential, why he didn't end up becoming a bigger star, and all sorts of a lot of drug use in this one, a lot of violence, a lot of crazy shit that they were going through back in the day. So be ready for a real crazy story. Lord Infamous, born November 17, 1973. He's a founding member of 3-6-Mafia. Hailing from Memphis, Tennessee, Lord Infamous gained notoriety for his dark and macabre lyrical style, pioneering the subgenre of hip-hop known as horrorcore. Throughout his career, he proved to be a talented lyricist and a vital force behind 3-6-Mafia's success. Many little-known facts about his life and contributions are often overlooked by casual fans and even some hardcore fans because he wasn't always in the spotlight, and when 3-6-Mafia found their greatest success, he was way far away from the spotlight, either in rehab or jail. There's conflicting reports. That's later on in life. Let's start with his early life. Lord Infamous was born into a musical family, which included his older brother, some say it's his uncle, rapper DJ Paul, and his best friend Juicy J. This played a crucial role in the formation of 3-6-Mafia. They were the 3 original members, DJ Paul, Juicy J, and Lord Infamous. Of those 3, Lord Infamous was by far the most lyrically gifted, with DJ Paul and Juicy J being more on the production, beat-making side of things, but they would rap. They were first known as Backyard Posse for a little while. That was back early in the 90s. They decided to change their name to 666-Mafia. It's a play on 666, and it was more just to get people's attention, and they knew it would be shocking. They wanted that shock factor. Memphis already had a burgeoning hip-hop scene, but Lord Infamous and 3-6-Mafia were flowing a much darker, grittier sound that had emerged. Lord Infamous had his deep, ominous voice and eerie flow, but sometimes he could switch it up. We're going to put some of his music in here so you can hear his type of shit.
Get from a burning, the body's up in it, confirm. Listen to Infamous lyrical twists as I show it the turn with the turn. Bird. Infamous is coming strapped like an Italian, Arabic, Iraqi, Iranian, South American, Cuban, Gorilla, Colombian, Muslim, so group maniac. Coming to rip your head off your neck, put your heart in the back, then I sprinkle your ash, head straight to the headquarter, chief and the blunt of the inner, down in my stash. I reside in the insane asylum, the body say problem on Infamous Island, where there is no smiling, the niggas put wide in the weapons, on silence.
3-6-Mafia released their debut album, Mystic Styles, in 1995, which is considered a fucking classic in the horrorcore community. In the Memphis rap community, if you're into underground rap, that's one of the best rap albums ever made. DJ Paul and Juicy J were killing it with the beats. Lord Infamous was doing some of the illest lyrical flows you could think of on some of those tracks, some of the best songs on there. They also ended up getting in a beef around that time with Bone Thugs and Harmony, who were trying to claim that they invented the devil style, and 3-6-Mafia was saying that they did it, and you're copying me, they're copying us, going back and forth with the diss. They released the track Live By Your Rep. Lord Infamous had the best verse on that one. It's one of the best diss tracks I've heard, ever made, but that's just me. I'm a big fan, so it might just be me. So once 3-6-Mafia were starting to get big around the release of When the Smoke Clears, but after Lord Infamous was in rehab, or while he was in rehab, they released the song Stay Fly, which didn't feature Lord Infamous, and it was the biggest song 3-6-Mafia has ever made. It still is. Other than Hard Out Here for a Pimp, which was featured on a movie soundtrack and won an Oscar, Lord Infamous wasn't on that one either. So during their biggest times, he was nowhere to be found. All their new fans probably had never even heard of the guy. So he didn't really benefit too much off the later success of 3 6 Mafia. When he came back from rehab or jail or wherever he was, he started releasing solo projects with his friend Two-Tone, who has been his friend since high school. And Two-Tone's another underground Memphis rapper that we should maybe talk about in another episode, because he's got a good catalog. He's a really good rapper too. So some of these solo projects Lord Infamous came out with. The first one he came out with, I was in 8th grade. I remember how psyched I was that he came back with this. It was The Man, the Myth, the Legacy. And he released the song, Where is the Love? And it was kind of all about God and shit. And I remember thinking, what the fuck? That was back when I really thought he was demonic and really into Satan. But, you know, that's just kind of a horrorcore shtick they were playing. Some artists really are into that shit, but 3 6 Mafia wasn't really satanic. And neither was Lord Infamous. That first album came out, The Man, the Myth, and the Legacy. That was a great album. I thought he was a really good comeback. The only other solo album he had ever released was in 1994, which was a solo album called Lord of Terror. That was a great album, but nobody had ever heard of that unless you were in Memphis at the time listening to Memphis rap. After that first album, things started going downhill. It was clear that he had a really bad drug problem. There was videos coming out of him getting his ass kicked in South Memphis. You know, a Memphis legend, Lord Infamous, getting the shit kicked out of him in some projects. It was sad to see. And every album after that, he really leaned hard on the horrorcore shit. He was really trying to sell to that crowd. And he still had really good flows and stuff. It was just, I think he had a stroke or something. He couldn't really pronounce the words as good. He was lisping a lot. He was slurring a lot. And progressively it got worse and worse on every album. There was a few albums where it sounded like maybe he had gotten sober or something. He was a little more lucid at times. There was a couple albums that sounded real good, but most of the albums seemed like he might have recorded blacked out, fucked up, trying to make some money off of it. Alright, so after releasing a bunch of solo projects, a lot of the former members of 3 6 Mafia, basically all of them, well, like all of the core ones from the beginning, linked back up. Except Juicy J, because at this time he was trying to distance himself from 3 6 Mafia. He was becoming a big star with Wiz Khalifa, releasing big mixtapes, big albums, mainstream type stuff, doing tons of sales, doing lots of numbers. But the Mafia 6, those members had stayed underground. They linked back up to make a pretty dope ass album. And Lord Infamous was there for that one. It had Lord Infamous, Koopstanika, DJ Paul, Gangsta Boo. I think LeChat was on there. It was a really nice reunion, you know, seeing everyone come back together after years and years and years of them being apart. Especially a lot of those older members. But Lord Infamous showed up on that one. He showed out. He fucking tore the roof off the fucking album. He did really good on that album. In preparation for a tour for that album, Lord Infamous had been staying with DJ Paul. Some say he's his uncle, some say he's his brother. It's really a lot of conflicting stories on that. But he was staying with him, and at the age of just 40 years old, Lord Infamous passed from a heart attack in his sleep. Now, the actual cause of death is heart attack. But I would say the reason for the heart attack was years and years of extremely hard drug abuse. 3 6 Mafia, and especially Lord Infamous, were never shy about talking about drug use in their songs. Hard drug use. When everyone else was talking about smoking weed, they were talking about snorting coke. So down south, man, they were getting it on, and they were rapping about their real lives. The one bad thing about glorifying all these drugs is it really does make young people think that's the thing to do. Grow up, it'll be cool to do drugs. And it may have negatively influenced a lot of people on that side of things. But totally makes up for it with all the positive musical influence he's given people. If you take a look at almost any modern day rapper and you check them out, you'll see a little bit of Lord Infamous, a little bit of 3 6 Mafia in every single one. They're extremely influential group, and people don't give them enough credit. And Lord Infamous was the best member of that group, and he definitely doesn't get enough credit, because by the time they had blown up, he was in jail, he was falling off, he was having a lot of hard troubles with the drugs. So The moral to this story is even incredible talent can be lost from doing too many drugs, man. You gotta keep that shit in check. It's cool to party once in a while, but you can't do that shit every day. You can't become addicted. You need to follow your dreams, keep your head up, and stay on the somewhat right path. Coming up next, I'm not sure what's next. Maybe a rapper, maybe some video game shit. I need y'all to comment what you would like to hear the history of. I'll do my research. We're not doing deep dives because as I'm starting out this content, I want to get some content rolled out. So I'm trying to push them out. But as I judge my audience and what y'all want, we can get into longer form videos, some real deep dive stuff. That'd be cool with me. But it's up to you guys. Let me know what you want to hear. And I'll see you next time. Peace out. History of everything.